Hey everybody, welcome to our camera block.
Our garden.
Hey everybody, welcome to our social distancing garden. We've been telling everybody about our garden projects for the last 2 months, so we just wanted to show you. We're going to begin with Patricia telling you about what we planted first, and then we will continue to walk you through our garden.
He wanted me to tell you about our first things we planted this year was whenever we were starting a social distancing weekend. Today is the 23rd of May, and so we have got broccoli down in here, and then also this is Dutch cabbage. First time I ever grow Dutch cabbage. I don't know what it does, but anyway, we're going to try it. And then over here at the bottom we have cauliflower, and it's just starting to head just a little bit. And then this is, I'm going to show you what we ate. A broccoli last night. Oh, it was delicious. Have you ever ate fresh homegrown broccoli? If you hadn't, you need to try it. But this is one of our first heads that we got right here, and it's just starting, and it's beautiful. And honestly, it don't really have any broccoli worms that usually gets in here, so it's really good year for our cabbage and our broccoli and our cauliflower. And eventually over here in this trellis thing I've got planted is some purple long beans, and they'll grow up here and they'll have big long purple beans, and we can like cut them up and make saute out of them, stir fries and things like that. So Japanese beans. Japanese beans? Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's our broccoli bed.
Now we come to my project. First off, I want you to see my working utensils. Because of the unlevel ground and the insecurity of my feeding, I work with my walkers. And I also do that for sympathy. But nevertheless, but also notice I jam out while I'm doing my gardening. And so this is my Bluetooth speaker, and I turn on my jam and I just rock and roll as I work in my garden. Now then, this is all of our plants other than the broccoli and the cabbage we've raised from seeds. And so we've done a lot of babying and nursing them over the last 2 months. Now, as I begin here, this is one of my tomato beds. This is a bed that we planted in mid-April. We've had to fight frost, and we've had to fight hail, and we had to fight freezes to keep them alive. But as we do this, one of the things I want to call your attention is this is my experiment. This overhead rack, this trellis here, if you would, instead of sticking my tomatoes, I'm stringing them. And so I run a string from above and tie them off going up. I've got 3 different types of tomatoes planted in this bed. Some of them, you notice, are blooming already. Some of them are just getting ready to bloom. We got the early tomatoes. We've got tomatoes that pass all the way through here. We also have some more broccoli interlaced within it. Also, for companion planting, we've also planted some onions. Some of these onions are left over from last year that are growing in this midst. And so we've really been blessed with a good weather, even though we've had to fight a lot. But I got 14 tomato plants in this bed, and looking forward by mid-July to be able to start eating tomatoes. Mid-June, excuse me. Looking forward by mid-June to start eating tomatoes. Okay, now this is our pepper bed. We've got 5 different pepper plants or more in this bed here. We've just planted them this past week. Now at the beginning up here is some banana peppers. Now we didn't grow them from seedlings, but all the rest of them we have grown from seedlings. We began back here with our poblano peppers, and then jalapeno peppers, and these etowata. They're supposed to be good roasting peppers. And then let me see, these are still some more etowatas, and these are ajars. And these ajars right here are supposed to be other good roasting peppers, as well as making sauce. And then we have our bell peppers, and then behind our bell peppers is our banana peppers. And so this is our pepper bed, and we will be also dispersing some companion planting in some of the spacings that is there. Notice she has her marigold right in the middle, and what is
basil? And
that's a basil in the middle for planting. And so we have
keep bugs down.
To help to keep the insects and stuff down as we plant. So that's
tell them about the pine needles.
And pine needles we picked up at my niece's down the road, but they're to help to keep stuff from growing up, but also to help hold moisture within our bed. And so Patricia and Adam went and raked up these and put them out themselves.
We'll try it.
So we'll give anything a try. We're just learning. So
I have just got to tell you about our cucumber bed and trellis. He built me a place here to plant cucumbers, but the trellis is made out of, what is these things called?
pallets.
Oh, pallets. And we got them for like $2 each. And then he actually did us a runner down the bottom that holds them together. And so when we plant cucumbers here, then it's going to run up over the trellis, go over this side, maybe even come back. And then we've got 3 of those down through here. And see, these cucumbers are planted here. We've got some starting to come up. And these are these long Japanese cucumbers that we enjoyed so much last year. And they're wonderful, tasty, and make great pickles. And they were just like prolific all year long last year. And so we have these here, but look what this is. This is Swiss chard. This actually, he grew these from seed, and they actually have done really, really good this year. They don't have any bugs in them or anything. And so we're looking forward to taking these and chopping them up and sauteing them in like garlic and butter and maybe a little hot pepper flakes. And these are going to be awesome.
And here is another pepper bed. Now that is a misleading when I say that, because these peppers are planted for companion peppers, because we're planning on this being our eggplant bed. We do have a different type pepper in here. We have Czech pepper in here, which we don't have at the others. Then we also have some cayenne peppers in here. But then we're going to intersperse our eggplants. We're still growing them from seedling, and we're going to intersperse companion plant them in the midst of there. So this bed will be full. We've got 10 eggplants to plant in here with this, and so that's what our eventual plans of this bed is. Now while I'm talking about this bed, and it's more visible in this one than others, I want you to see what's called super soil that we've got. We've been mixing this up. We've been following instructions. It's got what's that stuff? We've got peat moss, we've got cow manure, black cow, we've got dirt, we've got organic stuff within there to help grow in blood meal, bone meal, oyster shells, borax, Epsom salt. And so we've got a lot of things just mixed in here with this to help it to grow organically. As I told you, we've grown everything from seeds, and these are my seedlings that are still, the tomatoes will be 2 weeks before I can transplant. There is bok choy and those walking stick kale. And here is, as we told you about companion planting, this is going to be our eggplants. I got 10 eggplants in there. In a couple of weeks I'll transplant them, and hopefully we'll be able to plant them before by mid-June, as well as we got a couple of more cucumber plants growing in there.
This is our squash bed. We've got it in black plastic. We actually have 4 black plastic gardens full of squash. Now what we're going to do with that, I don't know. And also, when somebody did the ceilings for it, somebody didn't put the names on them. So, therefore, we have zucchini, star squash, we have, what else do we have?
Pan squash.
Pan squash.
Yellow scallops.
Yellow scallops.
Yellow squash.
Pineapple squash.
Pineapple squash.
I have no idea. Anyway, so we put it all in here. Adam actually helped us do the black plastic here, and we just did black plastic garden for all of our squash. Do have interspersed in here is a, what is that?
Companion planting marigold.
Yeah, marigold. And so anyway, that's our squash.
We got 7 squash plants in this little bed here, and we've got it alongside. Notice we've got about 3-foot walkways in between each bed or thing for us to get through. We did that where it'd be wide enough for my walker. We're hoping to put some carpet runners in the midst of these, or mulch, but we're still working on that. So
we're going to do it.
We're going to do it. I'm the one that did the seedlings, and so we didn't label them after we planted them.
This is our squash beds that we have on black plastic. There are 14 squash planted here, and again, we're not sure what kind, but we love squash, so it'll be good for us. If you'll notice, all the way down to the bottom, down there is where the electric company came last year and cut up all of our tree tops and all that, and we had them to dump us an actual pile down there that it'll grow and for the next couple of years and kind of rot, and we can use it for compost. And we had a friend to tell us how to that was a good time to do that. And also we have a pool here that I just planted some flowers in, some dills in there also. And so, but that's some of our black plastic squash garden. We also transplanted some sunflowers that Adam and I put out earlier, and they grew up, and so we had to move them down here because somebody didn't want them in their raised beds. Anyway, I don't know who that is. Here's more squash in our little black plastic bed. Actually, Greg, here we had some potatoes growing in there last year we used in the hay method, but this year we decided to go ahead and just put squash there and put pine needles around it. This bed was planted when we first started social distancing also, and this bed is like lettuce, different kinds of lettuce. It has lettuce like this, and then we have some brown leaf lettuce, a little brown on the edges. Here's some speckled lettuce there. This is also in the middle of this. I planted this, and the deer came and ate it all at the very beginning, but it came back out. It's collard greens, and so we have took some of that and sauteed it up and ate it last Sunday for lunch. And one thing I want to try to do with that is, have you ever seen those roll-ups where you put veggies in the middle and you can use collard leaves as a roll-up that you can cook with? There's also radishes in here. He's got some broccoli that he planted by seed, and if you'll notice this long trellis thing right there, well, we had that last year, and we tried to grow little bitty baby watermelons on it. It did okay, but this year what we're thinking about is planting some cucumbers and let them go up all the way up to the top. And but this lettuce bed we've been eating out it tons, and then we're also, like today, I'm going to need to get us some so we can have lettuce, and it's just fresh lettuce. It's good on carb diet, or on a low carb diet.
This is another one of those beds that we began back at the 1st of the March. It kind of kicked off our social distancing adventure. This is, first off, it's our mustard bed. This is where I had those mustards and green onions and radishes and hog jowl. And so we have been eating off this for the last month and a half. Ever since my birthdays, we first started eating that off on April the 18th. They were mustard up here, and it was real thick of a different kind. We pulled it this week. We'll be having salads off of it. We also want to show you our little workbench that we've got here. It's kind of Patricia's corner. It's a workbench where she does her flowers. We've got it set up where you can run water through a sink. We built this last year for her, where she can wash it and plant things. We've got 2 levels. It's made out of that 5/4 board, so it's weatherproof, and it is very, very sturdy. Look, I can't even shake it, and I'm kind of a big boy. But it is her workstation. This has been a sink that she bought at a yard sale back probably 15, 20 years ago. It's been thrown out behind the shed, and we just dug it out and made it use. We've got our water hose hooked up here. We're tied in, so we can use it for planting, and then also as we harvest, we use it for washing. Tell me
what that is.
Yeah, or
purple basil.
This is purple basil. Not only we're growing a plant, but we are companion planting it within some of our tomatoes because it is supposed to be good to help to keep insects down. We're trying to do as organic as we can. And here's Patricia's garlic bed. It is when we began it last year in October. We planted the garlic. We do have the super soil that's in there, and then we've planted 2 different types of garlic in here. We have those which is the hard garlic as well as the soft garlic, which means the stems are different. Both of them produce a good garlic. They've been growing. Usually by the end of May, and it looks like this may be because of being so wet, will probably be the end of June that's ready for harvest and drying out. And so this is, you see these laying down here in the middle. We think them are probably the soft neck, and this was part of our hailstorm that we had a couple of weeks ago, and that windstorm blew them over and laid them down. But this is our garlic bed. Okay, and here is one of our latest inventions as well as one of our oldest. This is a 26-foot bed that we actually rebuilt this summer because within it had some cross ties here. We pulled them out of the way, and then we filled this up and mixed up our super soil. Our super soil usually takes me about 2 hours to mix up a batch of that super soil and to put it out, and I've got 4 batches of super soil in this bed that's here. We have several things still planned for it, but let me introduce you to what we got. This here is one of my Abe Lincoln tomatoes that is growing there. Then I've got 2 more tomatoes I want to put here will be mortgage lifters when they come up. And then we have our green beans on this side. This first row next to the fence are running green beans called rattlesnake green beans. The same lady that introduced us to those German mustard seed up there about 7 years ago introduced us to these rattlesnake green beans. They will run up our panel that's in the middle. This on the long side here is just bush green beans, and so where we can just continue to have a mess of green beans throughout the summer when they get ready. Now on the other side, that little green row you see is okra. It's not just any okra, it's orange okra. I've never seen orange okra before, so I'm looking forward to that. Patricia likes using some of these specialty seeds. This is a bed that we built last fall. Now our purpose when we built this bed was for beets and carrots. And we planted them and had such a dry fall, the beets and carrots didn't come up. But we noticed that we do have a few carrots starting to come up this year and a few beets scattered along. But this year we have used it for our green onions and radishes. And so I know it looks a little skimpy right now. We've replanted a lot of the radishes and green onions just recently, but we've been eating green onions and radishes out of here ever since mid-April.
White radishes.
White radishes and red radishes since mid-April. Matter of fact, these was the radishes we had up on that salad I was telling you about a while ago with hog jaw. And so we've been eating them and green onions, and we're waiting for our second harvest of green onions and radishes to come up.
You didn't put a lot of nitrogen in this, did you?
This here, because of the root fruit, we don't do a lot of nitrogen, so we left out a lot of the blood meal in this one and just made it more bone meal to make it richer within the midst of that. Also, notice she's got this companion plant, and I saw a marigold right yonder and one right here to help keep off the bugs. And if you look over her shoulder, this is the end of that 26-foot box. We have 2 peppers in the end, and that is a mortgage lifter tomato plant that I've had to baby because it's went through frost, it's went through sunburn, it's went through broke over. It literally went through HAIL hell.
This is our blackberries. We had a friend to give us blackberries this spring that we planted, and see how they've all come out. And so we'll have to follow his advice and how to take care of them, but they're doing really well. And this is one of the things that I got this year, and it is called bird tape, and it's just really flimsy, and it does really good in the wind.
Here's another fence row. This was actually made up for our blackberries, but our blackberries 2 or 3 years ago just died out. So these are new ones she told you about a moment ago. And so last year I planted tomatoes along this. I used the other side of the fence. And so this year this is another fence row that I've planted. I've got 11 tomato plants run up down through this gate right here. And you can see how they're going. There are 4 different types of tomato plants. We've got Arkansas Travelers. We got some that I call my favorite. We've got Brandywine. We've got some that's called Hom 11. They're supposed to be good for dry. And then we've got Abe Lincoln, as well as mortgage lifters that is here. So this is our fence row. Now on the other side of Adam, there's another. This was muscadine vines that we've had for a long time but never made any muscadines. So we cut the muscadines. You can see where some of the vines are coming back. I've got 3 tomato plants I've planted over there. I've been waiting for the poke salad to get where we could pick the poke salad. Let Patricia show you what we picked this morning. And now then that she's got the poke salad picked off of it, Poke Salad Annie. This is here Poke Salad Annie. Her name's Patricia Ann, and I'm going to call her Poke Salad Annie. And in the midst of that, I'll be fixing that fence row up. I still got some tomato seedlings up on the deck, and so I've got room here for 13 tomatoes along this fence row. So we should be having tomatoes running out of her ear.
20 years ago, we planted these grapevines, and Miss Dot gave us, it was a start of grapevines back then. And then this sign, if you see Stanford Hill, it actually came off of the hill that goes up behind the church there at the Natchez Trace Baptist Church. This is our blueberry bushes. We've tried years and years to grow blueberries, and year before last we discovered the secret that you have to have 3 different kinds. And so they've done really good. The first time we've had actually blueberries on it, and we have 3, 1, 2, 3 that we have through here. And if you know me, I love blueberries.
This is our grand finale.
Which means, whoo, finally.
If you notice, this was a muscadine vines that were very, very thick as we began our social distancing. So we had to cut all the muscadines off of this one as well as the other one. And now then we're planting peppers along this muscadine row all the way down there till we get to Adam's sunflower seeds that we're planting. And then we've got, what is that? Kale, walking stick kale that we're going to plant down there and kind of make it tall. So this here still got a lot of plans in the future. But anyway, we want to thank all of y'all for taking this journey with us. Until then,
howdy. Oh, no, that's not it.
Have a blessed day.